Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of OverRant the show. Today's topic, video game music, and we have a special guest, CG5, along with two returning guests, Madanua Zxyl. Sorry, Mada. Madanua. I can't speak. Madanua.
Is it that hard, really?
No, Madanua 606
the first two times.
and Zxyl are joining us again. So let's just go. Aside from the normal ranting that we will get into later, we are going to be starting off with an interview with CG5, asking him some questions about what it's like to be the size of YouTuber he is. And after that, we will move on to talking about video game music in general, probably more music in general, and what I like to call video game music theory. So what music within video games can do to change a scene or something else. So, that sound good, everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Hi guys, I'm CG5.
Yep.
So tell us, what's it like to be successful?
Wow. certainly,
It's a straightforward question.
certainly the light in my life, that's for sure. All right, so what's
I
the
like the big
first
red
question?
I think that does count as a somewhat, I don't want to say good question to start with, but it's a question nonetheless.
How does it
It's
feel
what
to be
everyone wants to
successful?
really know.
Well, it's not really a feeling per se. I mean, it's happening, and that's what's happening. And so, I mean, it feels good to have this under wraps right now. Everything is working out. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I feel good.
Alrighty. I'll take the next question. So recently, you worked with Random Encounters to create a music video, Ground Zero. I don't remember the full name.
Mm-hmm. It's FNAF Ground Zero the musical. Yes.
That I just remember. Anyway, what was it like to work with someone who is a bigger YouTuber than yourself, I guess I should say? Well, what was that like? Because if I understand correctly, not to put you down or anything, but Random Encounters has like professional staff on hand, and they do this probably more for a living than you do. So what was it like to...
Honestly, it felt like, I thought when I was going to, come over, everything was going to be super duper professional and everything was going to have to be like, you do this, you do that right away, and please listen to me. And everything will be handled in a professional manner. But honestly, they seem more like friends than anything. The first time I met I was getting picked up by one of the staff members of Random Encounters. In fact, the pretty much CEO, I guess you could say, the founder. His name is AJ, and he picked me up, and we shared a hug, and we drove all the way back, and actually showed him a few of my songs, and it was kind of like a nice, friendly conversation. We got to become good friends. I was really excited coming out into California to be able to do something like this, but honestly, I wasn't prepared for superb professionalism because this is YouTube, and YouTube is definitely a different story with professionalism. I mean, you either make videos by yourself, or you make videos on your own, or it's that just said that twice. You either make videos by yourself, or you make videos with other people. But honestly, there's no extreme professionalism within YouTube unless you really want to be like that. But everybody's a friend in YouTube. Even the people from Random Encounters, they seem more like friends rather than, business partners. It didn't feel super restrictive, and I had a really good time out there.
Awesome. Dang it. I had a follow-up question. Give me a moment. It'll come back. I lost it. So, either Mata or Zxyl, do you have a question you want to ask?
No.
Okay. Mata? Because I have plenty of questions, so...
So you fit into the category of people who make videos by themselves, right?
Yeah,
For the most
usually I
part.
do make videos by myself, but I also have like people that I work with, like people that animate my videos. Because I can't do animation, but I like to I hire people, and I also work with people that know how to play the piano better than me, or they're really good at composition. I want to give them a chance to work on my own stuff, like on stuff of mine. I hire like lyric writers sometimes. Most of the time, I usually write my own songs, but sometimes there are instances where I will ask other people if they want to, help out. Usually that's the case. I have actually my one of my best friends named Marshall or Dalvando on the platform. He has done composition, a lot of composition for me in the past. We still work together, just not as often as we used to, but we had this crazy partnership going just because we were pretty much around each other all the time. But he was able to help out with a lot of composition and such. So I would say I have created a team of people, but I am the one that clicks upload, and it's my face, and it's my channel, and I hire people though. So in that
So
case,
you work with independent contractors.
contractors. I mean, like I don't sign any contracts really, but
Well, I mean,
like
by definition, an independent contractor is someone who is not a official employee, but are brought in to do a specific task and are paid to do that task. Even if you don't sign an official contract, you are entering into a sort of contract with the person. I'm getting very business languagey now.
yeah, I mean,
I'm going to scare
obviously
off
we don't use
viewers.
that. Obviously, we don't use that business language too much on this platform. We're just like, hey, you want to animate?
You
He's
think
like,
anyone
yeah,
on
sure.
YouTube does?
Nope, pretty much not. But nobody really has. Like we have a professional relationship with different animators and different team members, but we also make sure that we are friends and that everyone's cool with each other, and we have a good time making the music that we do or the videos that we do.
Alrighty. Um, Let me pull up my document here. I got a document where I put a bunch of questions together when CG5 first. We first discussed this. Um,
Oh yeah, it's the one labeled interrogation, right?
See, now that you say that, I wish I had had the foresight to name it that. Um, so here's a good question. What is the best part of being a YouTuber? And then follow that with what is the worst part of being a YouTuber?
Okay, let me collect my thoughts. Best part. I think the best part about being a content creator is being able to do the things that you want and they get received well. I mean, depending on what I do, honestly, like I recently released an Adventure Time remix cover thing, and it did not do well, and I actually took it down because it did terrible. And usually, you know, uh, I had a lot of I rushed that work on that song, and it didn't. And I didn't do super well at the same time, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not happy with this product. I'm gonna take it down." So I did, and then there have been cases where I don't like something I make. Honestly, "Find a Way," which is a song I made upon the Ugandan Knuckles meme in January, it was a mistake, but people seem to like it a lot, and I honestly like the production on that. But it took me an hour to make, and it's got like 1 million views now and 21 million on this other person's channel. So I guess people like it and stuff. But honestly, being able to do the thing that you want to do and be able to make a good career, income off of it, that one thing, like music production and singing and all that stuff, is probably the best part. And being able to, find free time in my day to do something casual, like play my Switch, or, go on a run, which I never do, by the way, and just exercising soon enough, right? But I think the best thing is just like, yeah, pretty much working and some free time. The worst thing, okay, I think the worst thing is being able to find a routine in my life, because obviously being a content creator, unless I'm working, It's pretty simple. I don't have to, I'm not really on vacation like ever. I get paid every day. I get money, and that's the case, and that's never going to stop at this point. So I'm never on an actual vacation. But honestly, my work is a vacation because I have such a good time with it. But at the same time, with all the free time that I have, I figure out, I ask myself, what am I going to do with this time that I have? I might as well I either work on music or I don't work on music, and that's my routine. So lately, I've been actually trying. I got a whiteboard recently where I can like write down a plan and everything, and that is going to help me. I hope. But I think the worst thing is being able to find routine, um, having good company around me, making friends is always can be hard sometimes, just because I'm working by myself. That's the case. I'm working alone. I do everything, a lot of things by myself, and in that case, it can be lonely sometimes. But the thing is that this work is great, and I still enjoy it to this day. But I got to work with routine sometimes. Working on routine is not the easiest thing to do in my life.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Follow-up question: why a whiteboard instead of a chalkboard?
Because I'd rather not have screeching noises in my ears, things down. I would rather have squeaking noises with the whiteboard and marker. I got it yesterday, by the way. Pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Alrighty. Another question for you. Recently, you went to Japan Con.
It was in Texas. People thought it was in Japan because it said San Japan.
Oh,
But-
San
That's
Japan.
what I
That's
like
it.
to ask.
Yeah, it was a convention in Texas, but it's called San Japan. Yeah.
With that, you would think it would be in San Diego or Japan, but nope. It was in Texas.
San Antonio.
Yep. Oh wait, I forgot about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's also San Francisco if you're looking for other possible venues.
yeah. There's a lot of
Thank you.
Sans around.
And San Juan,
Yeah. Comic Sans. I mean, the list just goes
Santa
on and
Monica.
on.
It's a bit of a stretch, but you could get there.
Yeah.
Undertale Sands. Sorry.
That's why I was going with this. Anyway, so at San Japan, you performed a live show, if I recall correctly. How? And that was also your first live show that you've ever done.
Absolutely. My first live show as like CG5, like officially, yes. I've done karaoke and stuff, but like this was like an actual, yeah.
How was it? What did you?
He's in a live show. It's a mistake.
Pretty much. It was great. I had a lot of fun doing it. Really exciting. Being able, but just my first time, like, I was put in kind of last minute. It was like, I was talking to Caleb Hiles, who was managing the event actually. And I was like, hey, can I perform maybe? And he was like, you know what? That'd be cool. I could put you into a duet and we'll see where that goes from there. And that was the case for this performance. I pretty much I didn't have like my own set or anything because it was all last minute. I wasn't exactly a guest. I was just like, thrown in. Nonetheless, it was a great experience, but I did the duet and then I did a few other collaboration songs. And other than that, I think I also was able to do like autographs, and I did a panel the next day as well as another autograph session. All of that packed in like it was such an awesome weekend. Probably one of the best weekends I've ever had because it was obviously my first time doing all that kind of stuff, and I hope to be able to do it again for sure.
Alrighty, awesome. So you two, I'm gonna keep on jumping back to you two to make sure you don't have any questions because I don't just want to steal all the time from you guys. Mata and Zxyl.
Why CG5?
Okay, here's the deal. CG5. This is what it means. Charles Green the Fifth. So, my name is Charles
clever.
Green, and I am the fifth generation in my family. My dad is CG4 pretty much. And I've had this name for about since I was 13 years old was when I started using it.
So it's essentially a serial number.
Sure, why not? If you want to like do some family history, you can use my name like that.
Can we look you up with the manufacturer?
Yeah, sure.
And this is why we love having Motto with us, asking the important questions since 2018. Alright. So, this was a while ago, but we previously talked about how channels seem to have this point of critical mass, where they see a lot of growth in a short period that keeps going. What do you feel your point of critical... Wait, no. What do you feel was your point of critical mass, and can you pin it to a certain video, or do you think it's still something that you haven't hit yet, or...
Like when I boomed the most, like kind of like my record week or month or something.
More of... Has there been a point where you went from somewhat less known to quite a bit more, I guess, best month overall that started the trend?
So my channel, I guess you're pretty much asking when did my channel really boom? Like my first boom or something, or like my biggest record of a month or something like that. Because I can tell you both. This is like two perspectives.
Alrighty, why don't we go with both then?
Okay, so my first boom for my channel was when, because I've had a few instances while I was from like 0 to 5,000 subscribers, where I was growing a little bit, and that was great, and I really appreciated all the attention my channel was getting. It was obviously not getting as much attention as it is now, but I always thought that even 1,000 views for a video in one day was absolutely incredible. Like I couldn't even fathom that. And when I released my first song, my first like bendy song, I kind of thought like, okay, let's do this because people seem like they want one. I don't know if it's gonna get popular, probably not, but we'll just try this anyways. And so I released my bendy song, "Can I Get an Amen," which is my first bendy song. And first day, it got 3,000 views, and I was flabbergasted that day. I was like amazed, and because this is such a crazy number to me to get in the first day of a video being up, I was like, "What? This is impossible. How could this happen to me? What?" And then 2 days later, the video boomed even more, and way more crazy than just 3,000 views in a day. In fact, I think it was like 5 a.m. 2 days later after the video was up, and I saw that the video had gotten 30,000 views, and I couldn't understand why. I was trying to figure out the source. People were commenting on my video telling me I had stolen from somebody, this person named DA Games, on YouTube. And I figured out that I had the same title as somebody else's song trailer code name for a YouTuber that makes songs who is way bigger, who had like 500,000, I think, at the time. But the trailer was like the biggest thing. It was absolutely like people were like waiting for the song when the trailer was out. But the day the trailer was, they searched "Can I Get an Amen?" and they found my song, and they thought that my song was, this person's song, like I had stolen or something like that. And so people kept commenting that I had stolen from this person. You stole from DA Games, and there was like comment after comment saying that. But honestly, these were all just children that didn't exactly understand. And then people really picked it up and realized, wait a minute, this is actually a good song. I don't have any remorse for listening to it. I'm going to start subscribing. So people started coming in more. I still got accused of stealing from DA Games, but nonetheless, I was still getting subscribers. My channel was starting to do better. I think that month I had gotten 4,000 subscribers. 2 months later, I think it was 2 months, yeah, I had done a Five Nights at Freddy's remix of the Living Tombstone song I Got No Time. And I put that up thinking FNAF does well. And I think the first hour of that video being up, it got like 2,000 views. And then a day later, the video boomed way more than I could have ever imagined. I think it hit about 100,000 views in 2 days. And that was like my biggest record, I think, for how popular something's gotten, especially the fact that that video right there was pretty much the point where my channel started growing exponentially. And I think with the schedule I have going on, it's continued to grow, and I'm very happy with the growth that is happening right now. And I hope to continue to do well. So yeah.
Alrighty. For those of you listening who don't know, I've Got No Time is still CG5's best song, performance-wise. It currently makes up almost half of his entire lifetime views on his channel. I think it might
24 million views.
Okay, so it's sitting more at like 20 to 30%. That's still a lot for a single video. So with that, I think that pretty much concludes the interview portion, unless anyone has any questions.
Nope.
Alrighty. You have any questions for us, Charlie?
Well, I guess when we get this rant going, I think we'll have a lot of questions.
Alrighty. Yep. Because that is the name of the show, OverRant. The show. I didn't think that out too well. Anyway, let's move right along. So now we're going to get into music. With this, I'll just put in the stipulation, music in general, but let's try to focus it when we aren't ranting on specifically how it applies to video games or music based off of video games. Alright?
Sure.
Alrighty. Now that we have the rules of engagement good to go, let's get started. So this is just music in general from what I've learned over the years. It can really change the pace of something, depending on what it is. I mean, you have, for example, horror movies, or just TV in general would be completely different if there was no music in, like, the shows or anything else.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I know that if I were to watch a horror movie with, like, Kevin MacLeod music, that like one of those stringy, weird poppy stringy songs to a horror movie, it would be definitely a different vibe. I think with video games, like if there's a horrific video game, that's the same case as well.
Mm-hmm.
Music is definitely it plays a big role in video games.
Now, I know this has been done before, but now I sort of want to do it for myself. That is, take a horror clip from either a movie or a game, and then change the background music. From like this.
There's this lovely YouTube channel called Editing is Everything that does that. Basically, just movies all the time. That's like their entire shtick.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ooh, I'll have to look them up later. Sadly, I don't think I can play anything while we're watching this because I don't want to be demonetized by, well, I don't want a copyright strike. I can't really say demonetized because I don't meet YouTube's new
to begin with now.
I don't meet YouTube's new monetization requirements.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, so now we get to the awkward part of these podcasts where everyone just sits back and ponders why the heck they are here. I mean, what are
That's
you?
what I'm doing.
I mean, what are you, dear viewer, doing here? Just sitting back, listening. I should probably stop this before I get them to click away. No, don't leave.
Probably
Come back.
wondering why CG5 decided to do an interview with us losers.
I don't even know you guys.
Just a guess. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm the common link here. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility for the crapshoot
Okay,
that this will
Zxyl,
probably
you grab him,
become.
I'll get the axe.
Okay, think about this. If you were to play, let's see, Super Mario Brothers, what would it be like if that game didn't have any music?
What if it had horror music?
I mean, Super Mario Bros. Minus the music is just Super Mario Brothers after you've been playing for 3 hours. It's the same thing. Invokes the
You'd
same
be
amount of
running
feeling.
through Super Mario Bros. Being scared of Goombas.
Well, see, now I
Dude, 'cause
want.
they go back and forth. You just gotta put the Jaws theme on them. Dun-dun,
No, that's not the
dun-dun.
that's not the
Singing
point I was
Goomba
going
going back.
for. I mean, like, how do you think Mario Brothers pushes the game with its music? Why do you think this music is so, good for the game? What would it be like if, it didn't have the music that it had?
Well, if any game doesn't have music, it's gonna be like, what is this? Like, there's no mood for it. You're just gonna be feeling confused.
Or like, what if Mario had Zelda music and Zelda had Mario music?
Don't ruin my childhood like that, okay? They have good music, the way they should be. Just stop with your bad
I think
ideas.
we had exact opposite reactions to this question.
That's not what the kind of reaction I was hoping for.
Well, it's the one you got. So deal
Listen,
with it.
like Zelda with Mario music, Mario with Zelda music. How would it change the feeling of the game? How would Mario change with Zelda music? How do you think?
Actually, not a whole lot now that I think about it.
Well,
Because
the question is which Zelda and which Mario.
that's...
How about, let's see, Mario, because obviously the Mario 3 and Zelda music, I mean, like the first Zelda, they're all like 8-bit stuff. So let's think about like, how about Mario Sunshine with Wind Waker music?
Oh yeah, that would be... Well, it depends on how you switch out the music. You might be able to get the same sort
Wait,
of...
okay, hold up.
but-
Mario 64 music for Majora's Mask. There you go.
Why not just do Ocarina of Time? Everyone knows what that is.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, I would argue that the entire internet knows what Majora's Mask is, but
But not everyone has played it. It's...
I mean, I haven't played a single Zelda game, so
I am a Zelda connoisseur.
Um,
I know what I'm saying here.
Am I the
Ocarina
only
of-
one who doesn't know what Majora's Mask is?
See, my point exactly. Thank you, Zxyl. You have nailed it home. Let's move on.
Sorry.
But enough.
pretty sure if I showed him a picture, he'd know what it is.
Okay, so with Zelda music, there's a lot of them.
Oh,
especially-
wait, we lost it for a moment. What were you saying?
Like when with Zelda's music, it can be much more emotional than something from Mario. Like, for example, Mario 64's Bob-omb Battlefield music. Very lighthearted, very wonderful sounding. It sounds great. I love it. Or like Zelda, but then you have Zelda Ocarina of Time's credits music when, it's very sad. It sounds very sad.
I just realized there's one swap word overlooking greatly, which... So, let's say Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which is probably the darkest in the series. Mm-hmm. And then you switch it with 64, and then you have an issue.
There you
Zxyl, how does
go.
it feel to be completely lost?
That's the kind of discussion I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Think about that. Emotional music on Mario, pretty much. Or dark.
It wouldn't work. Well, it might. No, I can't.
The point being that music definitely takes a toll on video games. Like if I were to play Mario with that Zelda music, I would not really want to play it as much because I wouldn't be enjoying the music in the background, and it would not go with the flow of, the Mario Bob-on Battlefield level. If I was listening to Dark Twilight Princess music, I would not have the same good time that I was having. And now we have how about Five Nights at Freddy's music and Bendy. Compare those two and see if you could use Bendy music in FNAF and FNAF music in Bendy. There's not much music for FNAF, but there is definitely creepier ambience, I would say, to a certain extent. But Bendy, there's like an old timey feel with the music sometimes. It would definitely change the feels because when I see Bendy, I see a cartoon demon. When I see FNAF, I see a twisted animatronic thing. And if I were to play a game of FNAF with some bendy music, it would definitely have the same feeling because these these animatronics, they came from like the 80s or so. Bendy music sounds like something from the 50s. In that case, music changes everything in games, is what I'm getting at here. Ambience or sound effects.
Yep.
Would sound effects change a game? Like say
Oh, massively.
all right. So here's what I'm getting at. Say if you switched a game like Sandboxy's Minecraft with a game like a AAA title game that's like newer, like the Spider-Man game. What would that be like?
Oh, I could just imagine that the sound of the spiders. And that's all I have to think about is the sound of the
Zxyl?
spiders.
Just the
Zxyl,
drop.
I'm
in the-
going to make
drop in
two
the
sound
water.
effects changes to a game, and I'm going to completely change it for you. Okay? Pick any just garden variety bargain brand
Wait, hold on.
zombie survival game. But no, just bear with me.
Wait,
Any
wait,
zombie
no, hold
survival
on.
game. Pick one.
Hold on.
I don't
All
care
right.
which.
I could just imagine the like if Spider-Man gets hurt, you just hear the ooh.
Just trust me here, Zx. Okay, so you got your
Alright.
zombie game. Now replace gunfire with the laser sound,
Oh.
and replace
my.
zombie groans with ducks quacking. You're welcome. That game will never be the same.
You just log on to Call of Duty World at War, and play some zombies. And
Pew pew pew.
quack 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 quack. Pew pew pew.
What the heck? The point still being that sound effects and music, they change everything, and that's exactly what I'm getting here. Is that if everything was different, I wouldn't have the same time with the game. Recently, I've been playing Splatoon a lot, and the reason I like that game a lot is because of its music. It's very funky, stuff, and it really adds to the game. I just love it even more because of that music that I listen to. Like if I were to mute the music, I definitely wouldn't be having the same experience. If I had replaced that music with something like, Mario Odyssey music, I definitely would not be having the same time.
And while we're on that, real quick, talking about Splatoon music, you can hear my cover of I can't remember the name now. Dang it! That
You
was
screwed up your shameless plug.
Yes, I did.
You need to get rid of that shame, man. It's the only way you'll survive here.
Yeah. Bomb Rush Blush. That's the name of it. It's a tongue twister. Anyway, you can see it on my channel. I don't know whether or not I'll link it in the end card. Actually, there should be an iCard popping up right about. Come on. It's there. It is finally. Good.
I think you're the first person I've ever heard on YouTube bravely say that there will be an iCard. Pretty much every other YouTuber I've ever watched, either the iCard just shows up, they don't say anything about it, or they say, if I can figure out how to do it, there'll be an iCard.
The only
It's
person,
one or the other. I've never
yeah.
seen anyone just be like, there's an iCard right there.
Well, now that I think about
Wow,
it,
flying across the screen.
there is only one YouTuber that I can think of that confidently does them like that, and that would have to be the game theorists / film theorists. Matthew Patrick does
Yep.
a pretty good job of putting those in when he says he will.
This is a video game music discussion, right?
Yes.
Yes, in theory.
Okay.
In theory.
I don't know. What was our topic last
But
time?
hey, that's just a theory.
Our topic last time was
Zxyl has copyright
programming.
infringement. Our topic last time was apparently programming. We talked about trebuchets.
No, you can't just say trebuchets and leave out the rest of what we talked about. That makes
We
it a
talked
whole
about trebuchets shooting flaming pots of gold.
with rainbows trailing behind them.
Smashing.
Okay, then. I see
That-
now
And
where-
whether or not this is a actually functional siege weapon, I say yes.
What the heck?
Welcome to OverRant.
Yes,
Okay.
that
So what's your what? Okay, Zxyl and Montanui, what are your perspectives on fan-made video game songs? People that make songs based on video games, fan songs and such.
Well, I think that sometimes fan-made songs can actually be better than the actual like in-game music and everything. And it adds a certain perspective to it because it really depends on how they do it. You know? There's a ton of different possibilities and ways they could do it. But if someone took their time and really made sure that it connects to the game and all that, I think it's a good thing.
I feel like fan songs have a tendency to capture the spirit of the game, even if they completely have a complete tonal shift from what the game actually is like.
Yeah.
My prime example of this would be, let's see, Good Mythical Morning. They did a Song Biscuits a long time ago with Markiplier, where they made a Five Nights at Freddy's song.
The heck?
And that song is like 100% upbeat, but it's definitely Five Nights at Freddy's.
I will have
It's
to
a really
go
good
look
song
at
too. You should listen to it.
Gotta check it out.
Oh, here's another thing while we're on the subject of video game music on YouTube. How important, Charlie, hold out for a moment. I want to see what these guys think and before we get, because you'll probably have the definitive answer for this, and that is,
Okay.
how important do you guys think it is to have something graphical to go along with the music? Whether that be like an animation, something simple, lyrics, or, of course, there should be something at least moving on the screen so that way those people who want to just zone out on it can. But as opposed to how complicated it needs to get to be popular. What do you guys think?
Here's
Well,
my
I
question. But
Go ahead.
respond to question with a question. Like, when you say something graphic, does that include like just a Microsoft Media Player like bouncing bubble, or like what's the low bar for entry here for having a graphic thing?
So, what I'm pretty much talking about is something simple like a visualizer. Nothing like too fancy, it's just a bunch of bars going up and down. That's one thing. And probably a low bar. Also, there are just static images that shift around a bit. I can't really... That sort of thing. Something you can tell that all the effort was put towards the music, and almost nothing was put towards the visual aspect of it.
I would say
Because it's a song.
that if I'm going to rank these, I would put a visualizer as just above having just like a single static image or a blank screen. Then I'd go up to slideshow of images, then preferably with lyrics on it. That would probably be the best way there if you're going to do a slideshow. And then move up from there to uh, live action music video, and then I'd actually put animation above that.
Okay. Let me shift the question around a bit then. Why do you guys think? Because I mean, this is music, but why is it so important to have those visual aspects in it?
Because you're gauging an entirely secondary sensory
Well,
thing. Like the more senses
here's
you
what
can
I
gauge,
think.
the better things get.
Here's what I think. Sometimes having visuals can be just as important as having the actual music. So uh if you spend a lot of time on the music and you spend a lot of time on the visuals, you're it's probably gonna do well because it's greatly um and you
Production
gotta
value.
have thought into that as well.
Man, if only that's how YouTube actually worked.
But it's greatly if it's greatly done. I mean, you can't hate on that. It's probably going to do good because it's basic. What I'm trying to get at here is if someone had just text on the screen but had a really good song, well, then they have the people listening to the music have nothing to connect the sound to like visualize. But say if someone has like an animation that's done really well and it really catches the attention of the person watching the video, that can really set forth a new outlook onto the song and puts more thought into it. So they have something to connect the song with. You know?
Alrighty.
Yeah, I would assert that music needs visuals for the same reason video games need music. It's it sets the tone.
Ooh, that's a very good comparison.
Yeah.
I like that.
Would you like me to chime in?
Sure.
Yes,
So-
please save us.
So the 24, so the biggest video that I have, the I Got No Time, it actually does have an animation coupled with it. And I think I did pretty good on music. So, like you put all those together, I think that's pretty much why people watched it so much was because the animation was entertaining, and it was about something that people liked. That I know that when I'm working on videos, I'd like to have a good video done for it. So because that video is going to be up on YouTube forever unless you take it down. And I would like to be happy with the work that I put up. And I remember that wasn't the case about 2 days ago when I uploaded like I talked about a remix cover of Adventure Times, and the song was the Island song, um, and it had not been doing well. And I think this is because I had rushed the work on it, and the video was pretty much a lyric video, and that was it. Funny thing is, lyric videos have definitely done well for me a few times, but not as well as the animation has definitely done. And I'm definitely more happy with the works that have animations coupled with them because, you know, I I want to make sure that animation is a good animation before I even put it out. So I look for good people to work on it. And when that animation is done and I get to see it, I cry watching that video because I like it so much. And if I cry, that's pretty much confirmation that yes, this is definitely going on my channel and I'm going to be proud of it whether it does well or not. I remember actually 5 days ago I put out a new Portal song. Okay, now Portal, it's 8 years old. It's super old, but people still like it apparently, and I love Portal. And so I decided to make a song out of Portal with an animation as well. I put that all together, and it's still doing great. Like I never thought it would do as great as it is doing, because it isn't FNAF, it isn't Bendy, it isn't something that everybody would expect. It's a Portal song, but it has an animation, and I'm very proud of the work that has been done on it, and I'm very happy, that people are enjoying it. So I can definitely second all your statements um, about the fact that animation definitely makes the video and the music better, and the video gets more attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna tangent.
Yes, please. Let's go on a tangent. Let's see if we can.
So you
get
said
contribution.
you didn't think it would do well because Portal is old.
I didn't think it'd do well because Portal is old. Yeah.
I find that very interesting because I would argue that the older something is, as long as it's in living memory, it makes it more popular.
That's a very good point. I mean, Portal is definitely like not in production anymore. Like I don't see a Portal 3 coming out anytime soon.
Oh yeah, no,
But-
like Portal is, I'd say, a pretty dead series. But
Yeah.
like the longer something is out in the public, like especially if something was initially popular, the longer it just exists in the public space, the more people can interact with, the more people can pick it up and like it. And I don't think I've ever met anyone who knows about Portal and doesn't recommend Portal. Like-
Exactly, because it's a good game.
It's a
And yet I've
brilliant
still never
game,
played
yes.
Portal. But anyways,
I'd like to chime in. Another aspect I think carries to why it did so well is nostalgia. I mean, a lot of people like say you go back through like an old yearbook or something. I mean, and think of all the memories that you had in say like when you were in elementary school or something else like that. And think of all those, it really like catches you, and you feel like those were good times sometimes, unless you memorize bad memories for some reason. But that's why that's another reason I think your song did so well, is everyone nostalgia caught them, and they thought of all the memories they had in Portal, whether they thought of it directly or their brain was like, hey, click on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
that's what I was
we were
actually
definitely living in the age of nostalgia. Like,
thinking. Yeah. I mean, why do you think we like Mario so much still? Why do you think people are still releasing games for Mario and Zelda?
and Marvel and why every movie these days there's a remake. Yeah, no, we're living in the age of nostalgia, and I mean,
Sequels.
NES Classic and SNES Classic. Enough said.
Exactly.
I mean, if you dig down deep on why we are living in the age of nostalgia, I think there is definitely a reason, and I think technology is to blame because we've had such technological advancement within our lifetimes that, I mean, previously to find someone who knew about an outdated technology, you need to find someone who's actually old. Okay, you can find someone in their 20s who remembers videotapes. Not hard.
I have an entire.
I
tub of
remember
VHSs.
videotapes. Like,
I, see,
I remember cassette tapes.
I'm looking at like
People see the Walkman
100
in
of
the
them.
Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, I had one of those,
Yeah.
or an 8-track, or a Discman. All of these outdated technologies, but we can remember them because they were literally our childhood. It's this compression of nostalgia, and I think it's leaking over into other media.
Well, I think another thing.
Exactly.
Another thing is the age of information. The fact of the matter is we have so many more stories. Is probably the best way to put it.
Easily.
Whether it be from like a video game or a TV show or something else like that, there are thousands of different stories. It's grown exponentially with the internet and everything else. So because of that, we hold on to stories for a lot less time than people of old used to. And that's also why I think there's a lot of focus around like the technology and whatnot that's been outdated for a while now, is because of the stories that came with it. We're race driven by stories. We make them up
Totally.
all the time. We love them. We love to tell them. We love to make them up. We love to believe that they're real.
Although, while I do agree with you that we definitely hold on to stories for less time in general, I'd also say that we hold on to a lot more stories forever now. Because, like, previously, in order for something to endure, it would have to be printed in a book, and that book would have to survive, which means it would have to be very popular. It would have to have something about it that makes people want to keep it in print, to keep making new copies, because old copies, great, it has to find its way into the hands of a collector for first edition copies to survive. You know, I don't think the Harry Potter books would have survived 100 years ago. Obviously, they wouldn't have existed 100 years ago, but like the kind of story they are, I don't think they would survive. They're fiction. And
I'll be right back.
very few works of fiction survive like that previously. And now we have all of the, Harry Potter, for example, that's never going to go away.
Yeah, and it's not even in production anymore, right? And so people still like it though, and people are actually enjoying like spin-off like Fantastic Beasts. They like that so much because it has the world of Harry Potter in it.
Okay, if we're going to get into this conversation, I'm going to change the example from Harry Potter to Star Wars, since that is probably the titular example.
I was going to go there next, but I want to stay on Harry Potter for a moment.
Okay.
The reason is that people keep on telling, like, they tell their story to the children. Like, I remember when I was a kid, my parents read me the Harry Potter books, and they were still coming out at that point. And so to shift to Harry Potter, or not from to shift from Harry Potter to Star Wars, it's the same thing. Star Wars movies, but they're movies that we show our children. It's why I know about them, because my parents love the Star Wars movies. They showed it to me. And yet, even though I think most people will agree the Star Wars movies are getting progressively worse, it's still going to show them to my children. I mean, I might not show anything past episode 6 to my children, but I'll show everything to episode 6 to my children. I'll even show the prequels.
I don't know how to feel about that comment.
We're good. Come at me.
Now this is pod racing.
I think that they could have been better if some of the aspects about them hadn't shifted so much during production. Because
I think that the prequels are, I agree that they are not as good as, well, I don't agree with that. I agree that they are not good in the same way as the original trilogy. I also would assert that they are leagues better than the new ones, even if their production value is lower.
Yeah. I
think the key to enjoying the prequels is to not watch them in episode order. If you really hate episode 1, fine, use the machete order, which, if you don't know, that's 4, 5, 2, 3, 6. You just cut out 1. They don't like 1. Personally, I would go 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. Would probably be my
I see why. Yeah.
Yeah, because the idea is you watch 4 and 5, then you watch 2 and 3 as a flashback, and then go into 6 for the final conclusion. And that works. The only reason why I personally enjoy and include 1 is because there's actually some important politics that happens in there. I know everyone hates the politics, but it is important for the story, even if you don't think it is.
Oh, it is. And what pushes Star Wars and Harry Potter to be so great as well is that music. Like the Harry Potter,
yeah.
The Harry Potter music, like da 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 da. When people play that on the piano, I'm like, that's Harry Potter. I remember watching that. Star Wars, you hear like da 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 da. I hear Star Wars. I hear Star Wars.
Dun 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 da 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 da.
Yeah, Imperial March. All this different stuff, all these different songs. It's because that's what makes the movie so great. And imagine switching the soundtracks around. Imagine Harry Potter stuff.
So actually, I can I'll do you one better than imagining to switch the soundtracks around. Let's shift to another thing with a great soundtrack, Lord of the Rings.
Ooh. Yes.
And everyone hates the Hobbits for some reason. I actually don't mind them. I just like things that everyone hates. But anyways, I do agree with one thing though about that people hate about the Hobbit, and that's that they screwed up the soundtrack.
Did they now?
If you watch, I think it's the first Hobbit. It might, yeah. I think it's Unexpected Journey. At the very end, during the fight with Azog, the song that plays as Thorin charges, it's a very specific song. It's the Ringwraith theme.
Wait, why did they bring that back for that part?
That's what everyone's. It's a stupid thing. The assumption is that they ran out of time during production and just had, we're just like, just use this. But it
Or it's like
pissed
try to
off
push
fans.
the nostalgia
because-
right on you right now.
Well, because like that is the ring wraith theme. It is only ever played when there are ring wraiths.
Yep.
But here it was being used in the completely wrong context, and it pissed people off.
Nerds.
Like, you don't need to imagine this. This is a thing that actually happened, and the internet is like livid about it.
Exactly. People can get pretty angry if something doesn't fit.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it, tonally, this song has been established to be the herald of, like, the Dark Knights, not Batman. Maybe the Black Knights would be a better term. It's more the Death Knights, whatever you want to go with. Let's go in D&D terms again. I'm sure Zxyl will love that.
Oh no, please, no! Don't break my brain again.
Anyways, but, like,
Bramage.
it's supposed to be the herald of the big bad guys, and yet we're playing it as our hero charges. What? Why? It makes no sense.
And now,
For
yeah,
what this is supposed to establish, you are establishing the wrong thing. The music is actively working against what it's supposed to be working with.
and back to that with Star Wars, like with Harry Potter, if you were to switch the da 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 theme with the triumphant theme at the end of every Harry Potter movie, where it's like da 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 da.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be.
You switch that around, it's like, wow, we're at Hogwarts, yay, everything's fine, and then the music would just really push the movie to be like, it's going to be this happy movie, and everything's going to be completely unicorns and rainbows because of this triumphant thing that I'm hearing right now.
This
And
is
then
this is all giving me a thought. All right, so what? Let's. I know this is probably hard for some people to face, but movies and all that are getting more popular than books, right?
I think they kind of always were, but okay.
Okay, well, here's why I think that is. It's because books they just have words on pages and tell you to read. Movies have visuals, music, sound effects, all of that. It catches your attention, and then in this age, a lot of people have short attention spans. I mean, you can be talking to someone and the next second they be looking at a butterfly. It's just like, I don't think some people really have the attention span to sit down and read a book for a long period of time like they could sit down and watch a movie for a long period of time.
yep.
Luckily, we
this
don't have
goes
to
for
worry about
me.
insulting them because they won't have made it this far in the video.
Wow.
This goes for me though. I mean, like,
Oh,
my teachers at school are pushing me to read like 40 books this year, and I mean, this may seem easy to y'all, but it's like hard for me because I can't sit down and read a book for more than like 10 minutes.
No, I can. Yeah, that's me too.
I can assert with confidence that I have never read a book for school.
Oh,
what?
I
Come on, guys. Really?
How does that summer
I'm the only
reading work?
book lover here? Really?
Pretty much.
I guess.
Like, I love books. I hate reading.
I like looking
That's
at the cover
me.
or graphic novels.
But I mean,
I have a book right beside me called
I'm
Kid
dyslexic.
Owner,
It's literally
and it's
painful
just
for
sitting
me.
here.
okay, you have an
I don't-
excuse.
I don't enjoy it. But if a book's good, it's worth it.
Yeah.
This is why I've read a very certain number of usually series, because if you're gonna do it, just go all the way. Anyways, but Zxyl, to go off what you're saying, I think the real reason why movies are getting more and more popular is because movies are easier to make than books. It's easier to make a movie than write a book. I mean, like, it's monetarily more difficult. It's more expensive to make a movie, but it's easier to get your vision across. To write a book is not an easy feat. You have to be very careful about what words you use and how you describe things, because you have to convey to someone else's brain what is in your brain with nothing but words. Movies are so much easier. You have visuals, you have music, you have framing, you have all of these different tools you can make. You can literally put them in your brain and show them what you see. And you can use music to make them feel the way you feel about what they're seeing. It's more expensive. It takes a lot more people, a lot more specialization to do it, but it is absolute. That also means if you screw it up, you can really screw it up. But the point is that in books, part of the appeal is that everyone has their own personalized version to a certain extent, because there is an amount of fuzziness, between authorial intent and the interpretation of the reader. It's why some people get very angry when books are adapted into movies and people don't look the way they thought they looked. It's all about how you imagine something.
Yeah, I mean, whew. Teachers. I'm going off of this because my teacher's making me do this.
That's fine.
But teachers nowadays are pushing you to read books, because like this year, my teacher is pushing me to read 40 books this year.
Are they assigning you specific books?
They're assigning certain categories. So I gotta read like 5 fiction, 5 nonfiction, and then like multiple other categories of books. And some have to be over like 300 some have to be over 300 pages long. Others can be others have to be like over 100 pages long. It's stuff like that. And what I don't get about that is kids nowadays, they're not going to learn as much from a book that you're pushing them to read, but they don't like. They're going to read it. They're going to look at certain parts. They're going to write to you saying, "Hey, I liked this part," and that's like the only part that they've actually understand. But you're pushing them. You're pushing them to read something that they don't want to. I mean, I can't read books, but I can go online and read articles. Reading articles is much easier for me to enjoy and really learn something from than reading a book. Because I mean, I can read an article about I can read an article about the solar system. I can read an article about space. I can read an article about how to fix a computer. I can read an article about anything like that. But for a book, it may increase your vocabulary, but I can't just sit down and read in a book and learn something as easily as reading a long article. I mean, that may just be me, but like...
So I personally do agree with you that pushing students to just read a bunch of books arbitrarily from these arbitrary categories with these arbitrary page counts is dumb, to say the least.
Yeah.
And but from the same standpoint, like, I think the main issue is just because they're imposing all these arbitrary restrictions on you, which I understand why they have to put those in place. You don't put a restriction like that in place. Next thing you know, people read 40 issues of Marvel magazines and call it good. Great, they read something they liked, but also they read the same thing 40 times, essentially. The story might have progressed, but I mean, the content they read was essentially the same. It's the same level of content. It's the same stuff. you're not helping them grow at all, and that is an issue. The the real thing that actually makes me really annoyed is when they hand you a book list. Oh, I hate that so much.
I know. It's
Wow, we
just
really got
like,
off topic here.
Welcome to OverRant.
That's why I love this.
what I think would be more beneficial is if, teachers, instead of assigning them books, they could assign them like anything to read at all. So going back to how I like to read articles, I could, of course, uh, there would have to be more, information given on that, like restrictions and everything. Like, you have to read 3 articles to match up to a 100-page book. I mean, of course, it's not going to be like that, but that's just an example.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Or
let's
yeah.
come on. Let's rein this back in. We're getting to the end here, so let's
Yep.
get a bit more on topic now.
All right.
So
Next to OverRant.
Let's leave
We
it
rant
at
about
one more.
books.
Let's leave it at one more question, if we
That's a
have
good
one.
plan.
like
Yeah.
to you or to just
To anyone.
Do you guys? Here's a question. Which one do you enjoy? This can go for anyone. Do you does which do you enjoy making music more for? Do you like making music for movies, or like games and all that, or do you like uh making music for something like a book? Or
Okay. I'm going to take this one from my perspective. I create music based off of what I enjoy. For example, what I've done a lot of recently are covers. It makes me feel something when I work on them, make them, have the final product. That's what I think all of this comes down. Well, everything in human terms can be described as feelings. We do something because it makes us feel a certain way, or we don't do it because it makes us feel a certain way.
Yep.
Did I do good? Did it?
You
Yep.
did do good.
Yay.
It's very good.
you did do it good. Yep.
I make music like about like video games and TV shows, and only because I like a certain thing. Me with Five Nights at Freddy's though, I do love the lore that comes from this game. I love the storyline that comes from it. However, the game is a mess. Everything about it is a little bit just feels always a little bit broken to me and a little too easy sometimes. But I know that there's some hard modes and everything else, and I haven't really experienced the 50/20 mode or anything from tonight or stuff like that. And I play Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I have a lot of fun with that. And Portal, I never really beat that game, but I had a lot of fun with playing it, and that's why I wrote about it. And just because I love the stories, anything with a really good story to it, I just really enjoy because then I can work off of something and be able to write about that thing. I was thinking about writing a Doki Doki Literature Club song at one point, and I don't like that game. There's some things I just think are really messed up about it. One thing being, these girls are very a little scary, a little sketchy, and it's a little too creepy for my taste, and therefore I'm not going to write about a song for that thing. I do enjoy remixing songs as well from TV shows and video games, and I actually did a remix from a Doki Doki song called "Your Reality," and I did a remix of that. But that I had so much fun with that one because I didn't have to write anything for that game because I don't like the game.
Okay.
I would love to listen to a song that's just deconstructing everything wrong with Doki Doki Literature Club.
Everything.
Oh dear.
Just everything wrong.
I wonder if anyone's gonna make a song of this. OverRant the show. Just, can you imagine what a convoluted mess that would be?
I imagine it would just be a series of off-topic comments from a myriad of different episodes put through autotune. So basically just what Shimo Yoho does.
Yeah, accent on the yo.
Oh,
Also, one more thing. atw-blog.com.
really, Zxyl? I'm doing the
Flex
plugs.
on.
I've just...
2 weeks! Been waiting 2 weeks!
Anyway,
I've been waiting 2 weeks.
I have one more question for Charlie here. Since you've done a lot with Portal, have you done anything with the Half-Life series? Have you played that at all?
I actually haven't played it, but I've heard a lot of good things about Half-Life.
Oh, we need to introduce you to that because it is... just... It's a master...
Don't
yes.
worry, I've never played Half-Life either.
But
Okay,
Oh, I haven't either.
not alone.
here's the thing with Mata. He may not have played these games, but he probably knows an extensive amount of the lore.
I see.
I
See.
live on
That's
YouTube.
that's kind of the case sometimes with me too. So I don't play something, but I definitely do my research.
If you enjoyed Portal, you have got to play the Half-Life games.
Yeah, no,
That's
most of the
just-
games that I've played are super old games that no one's ever heard of. Or RuneScape.
But I bought the
yeah.
Nightfall incident.
Yeah, now you've heard of it because I've told you about it 5 times.
Yes. So, anyway, I think that's going to pretty much do it for OverRant the show today. Thank you again, Charlie, for stopping by. You can check out his channel down in the description below. For those of you who are coming from Charlie's groups and whatnot, feel free to check out my blog where I post these OverRant shows, and I have an OverRant blog series there. I talk about tech, all sorts of crazy things.
Or
Mod-
go
You
back
can
an
find his
episode and
blog at
educate yourself on CG5.
atw-blog.com.
And you can watch the previous episode to understand why Zxyl is on such a spree with that link.
And learn about siege
atw.blog.com.
warfare. It's a lot of
Yes.
important information in there,
Yes, the last.
depending on your definition of important.
So, with that, thank you for stopping by. Feel free to leave comments down below. Give us some feedback over what you think of OverRant the show, what you would like to see change, what you would like to see remain the same, and just general rants. We love seeing your rants down in the comments. If we find one we like, you might be responsible for the next episode. So, which, I say that, and if you are, I am so sorry. So,
You've duped yourself.
essentially.